Now on DSTV, it's channel 279. My name is Kwaning.
And I am Judith Brown. Coming up this afternoon. This afternoon, former Auditor General Daniel Domlevo calls for laws establishing clear timelines to ensure corruption cases are prosecuted and concluded swiftly.
3 more individuals arrested in Gulumpe after clashes led to the imposition of curfew on the community.
Plus, Ivorians voting in a presidential election with incumbent and strong favorite Alassane Ouattara, 83, expected to win controversial 4th term. Of details of these and more coming up shortly. Do stick and stay with us. Welcome once again to the bulletin. We start from here. Now, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has revoked 278 small-scale mining licenses across the country for breaching mining regulations and operating with expired permits. The ministry says the move forms part of government's renewed efforts to restore order, discipline, and environmental responsibility in the small-scale mining sector. Here's a report.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Bois, first announced the government's decision in March 2025 to revoke all small-scale licenses issued after December 7, 2024, citing rushed procedures. The licenses were revoked for a range of violations, including failing to comply with environmental and safety standards and continuing operations after permits had expired. The issuance of these licenses was deemed irregular and lacked due process. A technical committee was established to review all small-scale mining licenses in the country. As of July 2025, over 2,700 licenses were under review, with 907 at risk of revocation. In an August 2025 report, the Minerals Commission announced that it would reduce the maximum duration of mining leases from 30 years to 15, citing concerns of operators not conducting thorough exploration. The ministry says the move is part of government's renewed effort to restore order, discipline, and environmental responsibility in the small-scale mining sector. The latest decision aligns with Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Bois' commitment to sanitize the sector and curb the destructive impact of illegal mining known as galamsey.
Now joining us on the line is President of the National Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association, Michael Kojo Pepra. He's, of course, bringing us more details on this. Good afternoon, sir. Now, how are your members reacting to this mass revocation of licenses? Mr. Pepra, if you could kindly unmute for us.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Exactly. I'm asking how your members are reacting to this revocation, this mass revocation of licenses.
Okay, first of all, I think a lot of our members are okay with the outcome of the meeting we had. A lot of our members were made to come and defend the reason why their license should not be revoked. Some of our members' licenses were revoked based on the companies they use in registering and acquiring this license never existed in the Registrar General's department. Also, some flouted the laws or the rules in acquiring their license, like you need to go to the EPA to get your EPA permit, you need to go to Water Resources, and then you need to even go and pay some fees at the stool lands. Some of them did not go through all these processes before their licenses were signed to them. Also, some of these licenses that were revoked were given to people as community mining to mine in some various forest reserves, like a clear case of Infante community mining, which was being launched by the previous government in the Desiree forest. So I think when they give them some hearing to come and defend, when they realize that these were the reason and the basis why their licenses were revoked, I think they took it in good faith. And the law still permits, if your license is being revoked by the ministry, you can still reapply and then correct the wrongs.
Now, did the ministry engage your association before taking the decision? You've already spoken about the fact that they told them why. Were there more talks as to what really led to this revocation of licenses?
Yeah, the minister engaged us. We were part of the committee that was set up to investigate these licenses. And as a matter of fact, all the reports that came out, we also relayed this information to our members. As a matter of fact, let's applaud the Lands and Natural Resource Ministry. He's doing a good job in the sense that he always give us the chance to come and then explain when he does not understand one issue or the other. Also, the CEO for the Minerals Commission, we've had engagement with him before the list was even brought up on the best way and the best practices going forward. So, as it stands now, you will say that the minister and the CEO for Minerals Commission is doing a good job. Also, what we were trying to say is these issues did not start today. And some of these people in the various offices were accomplices, because you don't give somebody an offer letter. Meanwhile, you know that particular enclave, mining cannot be done in that area. Like a clear case of Lake Busumche, which is a restricted area, and a place like Barikesi, which is a restricted area. Yes, the people were given concessions to go there and mine. This water feeds the whole of Ashanti region and part of Bono in the country. So that enclave was made a restricted area. A clear case of Jimmy in Obuasi. Before, it was a restricted area and nobody was mandated or can be given a license to mine. But the previous Minerals Commission and the minister assigned license for people to go there and mine. And a clear case of what is happening now, like the water that feeds Obuasi has been destroyed by some people who are illegal miners. So now that the minister is firm and bold and is making this decision, I think we support the minister. We support responsible mining and sustainable mining as an association.
Many thanks for your time. Michael Kojo-Pepra is the president of the National Concern Small Scale Miners Association.
Now let's move out of Ghana. Ivory Coast is voting in a presidential election on Saturday with incumbent and strong favorites Alassane Ouattara, 83, claiming credit for nearly 15 years of economic growth and relative stability, while hinting it will be his final campaign. Former international banker and deputy managing director of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, Ouattara took power in 2011 after a 4-month civil war that killed around 3,000 people. The war was triggered by the refusal of his predecessor, Laurent Gbagbo, to acknowledge defeat in the 2010 election. More than 8 million people are registered to vote on Saturday, that's today. Polling stations close at 6 p.m. local time, that's 18 hours GMT. Provisional results are expected within 5 days. A runoff will be held if no candidate wins more than 50% of the vote. Gbagbo and Tijani Thiam, former CEO of Credit Suisse, were deemed ineligible to run this year, and the remaining opposition candidates lack the backing of a major political party, making Ouattara the clear favorite. While here in Ghana, Ivorians living in the country are also taking part in the elections. Those interested in casting their ballot are doing so at the Ivorian Embassy in Accra. And my colleague Stanley Nibler is there and joins us. Stanley, good afternoon. And how is the process going so far, wherever you are?
So, Judge Kwaning, I must say that the process is currently ongoing smoothly. We don't have any overcrowding here because the registered voters, the Ivorian nationals in the country, are trooping in one after the other, not in droves. So the place is in order. I could see some Ivorian police personnel, a military officer also wearing Ivorian military uniform, and also a Ghanaian police officer currently at the embassy here. So let me also say that when you come to Ghana, 2 areas or 2 regions have been dedicated for the Ivorian election in the country, and because they are implementing the ROPA, Ghana has not been able to put their ROPA into use. But Ivorians are making use of this, and 2 places have been designated for this exercise. The embassy in Osu, the Ivorian embassy in Osu, is one of the centers. And then when you go to Kumasi, there is another center that has been operational or has been open, activated in Kumasi, where the exercise is also ongoing. But here, where I am at the Osu embassy, this very place is hosting 4 centers, 4 polling centers. And when you come here, the way they have made their register, so polling station 1, for instance, is accommodating registered voters whose name ranges between A and D. So if your name starts with A to D, you go and vote at polling station 1. Then from D to K, then you also go to polling station 2. Then K to N, you also go to polling station 3, and then N to Z, you also go to polling station 4.
Okay.
Then when you finish with the exercise, you'll be escorted out of the premises.
Okay. Stanley, let's look at the numbers. And it's just some few minutes after midday. And if you look at the numbers, is this in hundreds or thousands? That can give us a clear picture of the number of variants in Ghana for us.
Yes, we are taking information that a lot of Ivorians are currently living in the country, especially some also coming in as asylum due to the volatile situation back home. But I've been trying to get information as to the number of registered voters at each of the polling stations, but I was able to get only 1 polling center, where I was told the returning officer for that center, that is Center 4, told me that they are expecting 352 registered voters to turn up to vote. The others were not able to disclose that information or give me figures as to the number of registered voters they are expecting to exercise their franchise at those centers. And
how is security arrangement there like? Is it tight?
Yes, just as I indicated quite earlier, you see, the entire place is very calm. It's an embassy, so certainly you get to realize the protocols you go through. But it's easy for one to come through the embassy, because when we got here, we were requested to produce our ID card to the military, after which a search was conducted and were ushered into the premises. But security arrangement, like I indicated, I can see some Ivorian, about 2 Ivorian officers wearing police uniform. I can see a Ghanaian officer also in Ghanaian uniform, and then an officer, a military officer in an Ivorian military regalia. That is what I can report for now.
Okay. I know you spoke to the Ivorian ambassador. Can you listen to him?
Yes, so for the Ivorian ambassador, he is expecting his compatriots to go through the process and then exercise their franchise. He does not want any chaos. The tension that has been brewing back home, he does not want such tension to replicate it or to surface here in Ghana. And so he has been speaking with the media. We can also take a listen to what he told the media earlier.
Sure.
First of all, thank the Ghanaian authorities
qui ont mis en place des dispositions pour que cette élection fasse la transparence et la sécurité.
Who have ensured measures have been put in place to ensure this process takes place transparently and in a secured environment.
Concernant la transparence des élections proprement dites,
regarding transparency when it comes to elections,
les élections au Ghana dépendent de la commission électorale de la représentation diplomatique du Ghana.
So as you all know, when it comes to elections, it's the Electoral Commission that oversees its work in the diplomatic.
And that was the Ivorian ambassador to Ghana. And earlier we spoke to my colleague Stanley Bleo. Judith.
Now, 3 more individuals have been arrested in Gulumpe. In addition, following the imposition of a curfew on the community, the curfew was imposed after rival youths clashed over who has the right to load charcoal. Now, this latest arrest brings to 5 the number of people so far arrested over the clashes. Our Bono East Regional correspondent Belinda Tete is joining me for more on this development. Belinda, what is the current situation in Gulumpe now?
Right, so as I speak to you, Gulumpe is very calm, and aside the arrest, nothing new is coming up in Gulumpe, and gradually, the persons who fled the area, especially women and their kids who fled the area for fears of getting hurt, are gradually returning back to the community. I really cannot give a number of the persons who have returned so far, but I can tell you that quite a significant number of persons are returning back to the community. Also, economic activity has gradually started ongoing in the community. Some shops are operating in the area. And should it continue like this, we can't be hopeful or we can't be assured that all the persons who fled the area should return back to the community.
And the 5 persons that have been arrested, what is their current situation as well?
Right. So I spoke to the regional commander this morning, who tells me that the 5 persons were arraigned before court yesterday, and they have been remanded. They are currently in police custody in Chichiman, just to make sure that they do not go back to hold any sharp object or anything that will reignite the tensions that is ongoing there. And so they are currently in police custody. We do not know how long they will remain in police custody, but what is assured is that until the curfew ban is lifted, they should still remain in police custody, just to make sure that the calm that is currently being enjoyed by the residents of Gulumpe would maintain. Yes.
With you this morning, Gulumpe is calm, and when you get there, some of the shops have even opened, and people who have fled the community are coming back.
Well, many thanks for your time. That's Bono East regional correspondent Belinda Teta bringing us more details on some clashes as well as a curfew in Gulumpe.
In more news this afternoon, the government says it is rolling out new incentives and concessionary loans for private organizations investing in green jobs. The move, according to the Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, is part of efforts to tackle unemployment and promote sustainable economic growth.
In a renewed push to bridge the unemployment gap, the government says it is supporting private-led businesses to create more environmentally friendly jobs. Labour, Jobs and Employment Minister Dr. Rashid Purple says the initiative will not only create opportunities for the youth, but also help stabilize employment across the country.
Stakeholder Green Jobs Coordination Platform has been established to harmonize interventions across ministries, social partners, and development agencies. These milestones reflect Ghana's commitment to aligning jobs creation and environmental sustainability. However, we must scale up these efforts to reach more workers, enterprises, and communities.
The Green Jobs Policy, first launched in 2021, aims to promote renewable energy, sustainable industries, and eco-friendly business practices. Under the initiative, government is partnering the private sector to develop more job opportunities while protecting the environment. Currently, the ministry is engaging key stakeholders to fine-tune and streamline the policy for effective implementation. At a stakeholder forum, a representative of the government, Cheni Odai, urged government to ensure that its policies continue to promote sustainable jobs for young people.
Economy, I repeat, the green and circular economy offers us a new way of thinking and doing business. One that focuses on reducing waste, reusing resources, recycling materials, and regenerating natural systems.
Other stakeholders also highlighted the importance of green jobs to the country's socio-economic growth. The Labour Ministry says it remains committed to investing in initiatives that create decent work while protecting the environment.
Now to the Ashanti region, 25-year-old Ishmael Arthur has won the 4th edition of the Akma FM Marathon. 19-year-old Alimatu Idrisu also won the female category. Now let's go live to the Ashanti region and speak with Northern Bureau Sector Chief William Evans Inkum. William, let's deal with the records here. What record time did both winners finish and at what distance?
Well, George, so they were supposed to cover a distance of 21 kilometers. Truly, the winners did. So for Ishmael Arthur, 25-year-old, an officer of the Ghana Armed Forces, and of course, the students from the University of Ghana, he finished with 1 hour, 5 minutes, 55 seconds. Alimatu Idrisu, who also won the female category, 19-year-old student, also finished with 1 hour, 22 minutes and 35 seconds. Of course, the second runner-up for the male competition, Prosper Kumsen, he won last year's edition. That was third edition. He won. So he was looking forward to defending his title, but that was not today. He is a student of Osei Senior High School, 16 years of age. He also finished second with a record of 1 hour, 6 minutes, 12 seconds. Of course, David Nkosi from the Upper West region, also University of Ghana, also finishing or grabbing the third position. So that was it. I mean, they walked home talking about the first, those who emerged victors walked home 5,000 Ghana cedis cash prize, some product from sponsors, and of course, an award plaque. 5,000 for the male category and 5,000 for the female category, respectively. George.
But I know there was some sort of side attraction. Tell us more about that.
Well, so security agencies were also here to also compete in some athletics. Armed Revenue, Custom Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority won that particular competition, showing their mother, And of course, tug of war, the prison service also won that. No, I think the fire service won that particular competition. So that was an interesting one.
Thank you so much for your time and all the updates. William Evans Inkum there, bringing us up to speed on the Akuma FM Marathon. Judith.
In more news this afternoon, the Ghana National Association of Teachers (NAT) has lauded former First Lady Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings for her role in rolling out early childhood education in the 1990s. Now, according to the General Secretary Thomas Tanko Musa, the Ghana Education Service (GES) and the Ministry of Education should institute an initiative in remembrance of her. Meanwhile, the General Secretary has appealed to the Ghana Education Service to ensure that compensation is made available for the teacher who lost his life in Boko.
The women in the rural areas, they were empowered under the 31st December Women's Movement. They were economically empowered. And because they were economically empowered, their children that they could have given out for them to go to the Volta Lake and other places to go and do what you call child labor activities, they put them in schools. And not only that one, the lady, our late mother, Her Excellency Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings, ensured that the 31st December created, we call crèche all over. You won't believe it. No, you see, we will never ever appreciate this thing until you go back and do critical analysis that the children that were born in those days, let us go and do some kind of tracial studies and find out where are they, and you see the significant impact of her contributions, okay, in the lives of rural folks. Today, because there is a gap now, the children in those areas are going into Galamsey. Have you seen the difference? In her days, she found a way of empowering people in those difficult areas. And instead of their children going to do child labor, or instead of their children going to do Galamsey and all that, or their children go to cut down trees, their children came to work at school, crèche. In the morning, the children will be at school. Under the 31st December, who come to do that. And so the children who will not get school, this one under the, you see, and the reason, the advantage is that those schools were well resourced. Yeah. Because the First Lady was the one championing it. I'm looking for a day that we will have that, we will have that individual who will champion this.
And now in Achimtafo in the eastern region, a group of women palm oil producers is celebrating the positive impact of the late former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo advocacy, which inspired and empowered many of them to start their own palm oil businesses. Their enterprise proudly bears the name of the 31st December Women's Movement, a reflection of the initiative that gave them the confidence to pursue economic independence. Yvonne Nikwe visited the group and interacted with some of the women.
Former First Lady has passed on, but her legacy still stays on. Here at Achimtafo in the Eastern region, her movement, the 31st December movement, caught on with women. Because of that, they empower themselves in production of palm oil. She may not have built the facility here, but the place was named after her. We're asking the women how they got encouraged by her advocacy for women empowerment here.
The Rebe Kainu teaching me say, or you'll be a nema a dear Markan Kodana Kumasu. It's a nunema or boabua mad dranwa this 31st December Women Movement, you know, a bar or maim.
She was an advocate for women empowerment, and she had it at heart. After introducing the 31st December movement, she helped most women with career development.
Yes, a manner. And the end of near a marqua, ye walk cocoa research. One kunu yeti kuwa near friend Craig Workers Wives Association. Society agency abayam. Oka won some so na akwandu dem bem because inuma bebre otiti ene nwokam. Afi ma no dodo na no mo ye 31st for tafo ha. Enti yen a ye de enwo adwuma no ba tafo ha no. E ma na no mo 31st for no. We even
named a community in Tafo after the initiative.
Now, for a woman whose reign was not witnessed by many of the younger generation, the death of former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings has nonetheless struck a deep chord across the nation. In the last 24 hours, Ghana's internet generation has taken to social media to celebrate her remarkable legacy and lifelong contribution to national development.
Before women empowerment became a hashtag, Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings was already living it. Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings was more than just Ghana's first lady. She was a woman who knew her worth and made sure the world did too.
Like Mrs. Annie Jaggi and a couple of other ladies, but not to the extent that I thought we should go. And I was pushing it from the lowest levels to the highest levels, from the village level, the town level, into the cities, to the national level. And then I felt that if we could use the UN Declaration on Women to push the women's agenda, it will make it easier for the men to also accept where we wanted to go to.
From X to TikTok, the internet generation has been eulogizing Ghana's former First Lady, celebrating her as the original feminist icon. The First Lady who did more than smile, and the blueprint for women who lead with confidence. For a generation that never saw her in office, many are discovering her story for the first time and are beginning to realize how much she shaped the space women occupy in Ghanaian society today.
I didn't come to meet her in her tenure of office, but I've heard a lot about her, that she was involved in a lot of women's rights activities.
I think she has been very key in the Ghana's history as where we've come to be. I know her for being the former president's wife, who also passed a few years ago. So it's quite sad. Within the space of 5 years, we are losing both of them.
It's a really sad moment for all Ghanaians. Looking at her impact, I know that she's an advocate for women's rights and also a role model for most women as well. So I feel like we've really lost a hero.
Hashtags like RIP Nana Akufo-Addo, hashtag Ghana Month have been trending as young people share old videos, powerful quotes, and her unforgettable fashion looks. Some posts even joke that she ran so former Second Lady Semira Baumia could walk.
Even though most of Gen Z never lived through her era as Ghana's First Lady, her story still hits hard. A proof that owning your power and staying true to yourself never goes out of style. Enyonam Haliga, TV3 News, Accra.
Even if you have any fondest memories of her, just share with us on Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana. Hopefully, we read them and share them to the rest of the world. Her tireless work and advocacy have transformed the lives of countless women and girls, opening doors to education, economic empowerment, and leadership opportunities. The former First Lady under the Fourth Republic, Nana Kwaning Judith, may have passed on, but her legacy lives on. Evelyn Tinkma in the following report tells the life and impact the former First Lady made in the lives of millions.
You can call her a trailblazing First Lady and a champion of women's empowerment, and you will not be wrong. She was Ghana's longest-serving First Lady, and she has left an indelible mark on the country's history. She first served as First Lady during the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, reigned from June 4 to September 24, 1979, and also during the Provisional National Defense Council (PNDC), which ruled Ghana from December 31, 1981 to January 6, 1993. After her husband won the first and second democratic polls in the Fourth Republic, she also served as the First Lady from January 7, 1993 to January 6, 2001. Nana Konedu Agyeman-Rawlings was indeed a trailblazer in every sense. Her impact on Ghanaian politics and social development is still felt today. One of her most notable achievements was the establishment of the 31st December Women's Movement in 1982. The movement focused on women's empowerment, education, and economic independence. She mobilized millions of Ghanaian women across the country to participate in income-generating activities, as well as provided them with literacy and financial education. Today, the 31st December Women's Movement markets and daycare centers built by her still exist and are blessings to many.
I just don't know, because she built the market. She built this market that we're selling. Yeah, mama, no, I'm bed the market.
The former First Lady contributed significantly to ensure the passage of the Intestate Succession Act 1985 PNDC Law 111, which protected the rights of inheritance of widows and children. Under her leadership, Ghana also became the first country to ratify the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1991. Nana Konedu Agyeman-Rawlings' leadership and vision inspired many, including other African women leaders. In fact, she paved the way for future generations of women in politics and public service.
It is our sole responsibility to ensure that our nation has in place the most effective constitution that guides our leadership and the most effective policies and strategies that make us a prosperous nation.
As a politician, she was a member of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), but later founded the National Democratic Party (NDP).
I want to change the lives of people like this. I want to improve and change the lives of people like this. Meaning, I woke up a lot today for this one. With the number two. Too direct. Too direct. Too direct. Let me show you what a woman can do for this country. Let me show you how I can turn your lives around in a matter of 4 years. Let me show you.
In 2016, she made history as the first woman to run for president of the Republic, further solidifying her legacy as a trailblazer. Nana Konedu Agyeman-Rawlings' demise on October 23, 2025, at the age of 76, came to many as a shock. Her life's work serves as a testament to the power of dedication, hard work, and a commitment to empowering others, and her legacy will forever be remembered. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
So continue to rest in perfect peace. That takes us to our very first break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Mina All-in-One Nutrimix is truly milky and
contains calcium. So no need to add milk to that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish and energize your kid. Milo All-in-One Nutrimix is such a smart choice.
Welcome back. You're still watching Weekend Central. We're going to do some more stories now. And the former Auditor General, Daniel Yao Domlevo, has called for laws to establish timelines for corruption cases. Now, speaking on the key points, the former Auditor General argues that legal frameworks should ensure corruption cases are prosecuted and concluded in a timely manner. He added that this will ensure public confidence in the system while deterring future corruption.
Because there have been no consequences from his behavior for a very long time. People have been getting away with this all over the years. So people are just taking it from one level to another. Put a time limit on trials. If you go to Nigeria, they have made a good progress. The Supreme Court in Nigeria, based on Section 306 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and then Section 40 of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act, has prevented stay of proceedings. They say there will be no stay of proceedings in criminal cases. So we should apply that, if not to all criminal cases in Ghana, at least to corruption-related cases. To say once we start trying you on corruption, you can't go to a higher court and come back and tell us that stay proceedings, let me finish my appeal before you continue, so that we can bring finality. And a law must guide us. If China could convict somebody within 3 months, Ghana, we should also be able to convince somebody at least within a year. If we can't do 3 months, we can't do 6 months, we can't do 9 months, 12 months, we must be able to bring it to an end. Because until we do that, the prayer of the criminals and their lawyers is that they will continue dragging the case until there's a change in administration or government. Then you hear nolle prosequi, and then the case drops off and our money is gone. So that is the challenge we face, and I think these changes are very necessary.
Daniel Yao Domlevo is former Auditor General. Let's still stay on the key point. And co-chairman of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Edem Sinano, is also calling for the establishment of specialized courts with clear timelines to deal with corruption. Speaking on the key point, Edem Sinano cited the case of Kenya, which has clear timelines for corruption-related cases. He also reiterated the need to amend the Assets Declaration Law. Take a listen.
What are the sanctions that should be applied? How speedily are those sanctions applied? Otherwise, at the end of the day, we have a whole machinery in place, but we're not getting the results. So you're absolutely right. The COPO needs to be done. We need to strengthen some of the areas, illicit enrichment, reverse bidding, those things are there. But internal audit, and as it leads to making sure that they are sanctioned. And that's why the president's idea of a special court on audit issues, for me, makes a lot of sense, which is what the AG demonstrated. I think one of the cases, he said he had asked for a forensic audit, and then the data, and I thought it was excellent. It's a good way of deploying other agencies, because then the work that the lawyers need to do when they go to court is less, because the evidence is skunk. Yeah. So that I thought was a very smart move. Yeah. That, look, let's get other agencies to pull out the evidence in a stronger way.
Welcome to Regional Hub. Now, in a bid to protect lives and property, the Bekwai Municipal Assembly has launched a comprehensive distilling project targeting major drainages throughout the municipality. The initiative, a direct response to the years of destructive seasonal floods, aims to ensure free-flowing waterways. Ibrahim Abubakar has been assessing the situation and joins us for more on this. Ibrahim, good afternoon. Now, how widespread is the flood situation in the area?
Well, if you go to Bekwai, most of the communities currently experience flood anytime it rains, and for years, seasonal rains have brought anxiety to some of these residents, and you often find blocked drainages causing water to overflow, which ends up submerging homes and even cutting off major roads. We do know that we are in the times of rain, even though it's not June, July, but even at this time, it is raining heavily. So anytime it rains, you see that some homes are submerged, roads cut off. And the primary contributor has been long-term accumulation of silt and refuse, a problem that has been worsened by indiscriminate dumping and construction on waterways. But this time around, the Bekwai Municipal Assembly is taking steps to bring an end to the annual flooding in the area, and for that matter, they have begun with the dredging of major drainage in the area, and also clearing of even heap refuse around the area. And this is even in collaboration with NADMO and also other departments within the municipality. And they are just hoping that going forward, they will not be experiencing flooding anytime it rains. Let's listen to what the municipal chief executive, Isaac Isipo, has been telling us.
Right.
We have some houses that were submerged, and we took cue from that to ensure that the floods doesn't occur. And information we've gathered is that for years there have not been this kind of dredging, and so the community, and for that matter, this particular area of Bekwai needed to be dredged, and that is what exactly we have done. For almost a week now, we have been on site trying to ensure that the people will live in their peace without any disturbances from the floods. Beyond this, we are going to go around, make sure that any structures without permits that are on waterways are duly removed, so that if not that, then the work that we have done and the monies we have spent will be in vain. So the Works Department of the Assembly, together with all the other stakeholders, we are going to ensure that all structures that are not permitted to be where they are, especially those in waterways, are dealt with.
Now, Brian, what's the take of residents on this particular intervention?
So for the residents, the sight of cleared drains is a massive relief for them. And they have even decided that going forward, they are pledging to ensure that they wouldn't allow anyone to throw or dump refuse in the drainage, and even they will prevent people from building on waterways. Let's listen to what they've been sharing.
Abo eka kesiye no de aye saa adwumadie yi nje nananom so no ye behwe se saa asumre ya ye yie no ye nso baba ho ban se de be ya ensie na da ne da no ensuo no betumi afam na tumi aboa ye ama ye so etia no ye ho atoye
bola na ye wa ani nsuo yi e de ho ba pa even cholera pa amanfo call hospital cholera pa e haye nti wo ma ba ye si ama ye MC no ye bona ba so because it be see that because yensuo tufa nkofo so oma betu ni na amaye so ye ma obi a ntubola engu nsuo ni mu ana obi be si dan wo nsuo ni ncha ye mpene ma obi a emfa edan si wo bio.
Oh, many thanks for your time, Ibrahim Abubakar, as a Shanti regional correspondent, bringing us more details on perennial flooding in that particular area. George.
With government directives on the modalities for the utilization of the District Assembly Command Fund, Metropolitan Chief Executive of Tamale, Abu Takoro, has expressed optimism that the Tamale metropolitan area will see unprecedented infrastructure development. According to him, the Assembly is ready to comply with the directive and commit all funds to the deployment of the metropolis. And now my colleague Christopher Marco has been engaging the MC on the development gap in the metropolis. And now let's talk to him. Christopher, can you tell us what more can you share with us concerning development in the area?
Yes, so George, we all know that government has directed metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to ensure that majority of their common fund allocation is channeled to capital infrastructure. And so the Tamale Metro has taken it upon themselves to ensure that hard-to-reach communities or communities that have been deprived over the years also have access to some of these infrastructural development. And so they have been cutting sod for the commencement of some classroom blocks, some chiefs compounds, so that access to health, access to education to these areas will be achieved. And so the Metropolitan Chief Executive, Abu Takoro, has been emphasizing that the directive by government is not a punishment to the assemblies, but to ensure that every corner of their assemblies get the needed development. Okay. Let's take a listen to what he's been saying.
And can we have the MC giving that very assurance? Okay, so I know you also talked about, infrastructure gap. Can you paint a picture for us how bad that looks like in the metropolis?
Even though the Tamale metropolis has seen some developmental interventions over the years. There are still some challenges which has to do with health infrastructure. We all do know that the Tamale Teaching Hospital and the Tamale Central and West hospitals are in the Tamale community. But we have other communities that make up the Tamale metropolis. Most of these communities do not have access to healthcare. They don't have CHIPS compounds. And so this intervention by government or directive by government to ensure that communities get access to these facilities has come at a time that the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly is ready to commit its resources into these developmental areas. Issues of sanitation, roads have also become a topical issue in this directive. And so the Assembly has remained committed, as indicated by the Metropolitan Chief Executive, that they are going to ensure that by the tenure or the end of the tenure of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC government, they are going to ensure that the metropolis sees the needed development that it deserves.
Property later.
To thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who promised the people of Ghana that when he get the nod after the 2024 election, he is going to, put all resources to the district assemblies for us to execute his policies. And today we are at Kudula to make sure that we'll fulfill the promise of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and then the Member of Parliament, Haruna Idrisu. I think during the campaign, we promised the people of Kudula that when we get the nod, we'll make sure that we provide cheap compounds for them. Not only the cheap compound, but at least the accommodation for the nurses. And today we are here to cut short for the commencement of.
You just heard from the MC for Tamale, and also we engaged our Savannah regional correspondent, Christopher Marco, in that regard.
And more news, the medical director of St. Martin's de Porres Hospital in the Elembele district, Dr. Paul Cooper, has expressed concern over the high number of breast cancer cases the facility continues to receive each month. Now, he notes that a majority of these patients are diagnosed at an advanced stage of the disease. Meanwhile, Ghana National Gas Company has provided assistance to some breast cancer patients at the facility under the Mahama Cares Initiative. Irama Smith has more.
Ekwe Hospital, a major referral facility in the Elembele district of the Western region, serves the 3 Nzima districts and beyond. For years, it has provided essential care to countless patients despite a persistent shortage of healthcare professionals. According to the hospital's medical director, Dr. Paul Cooper, this is largely because many professionals see the area as too rural and refuse postings there. A major concern, according to him, is also the increasing number of breast cancer cases being reported at the facility. Dr. Cooper reveals that many patients in the area fear stigmatization and also believe that surgeries and other medical interventions will rather worsen their condition in spite of the breast cancer awareness campaigns, leading to them reporting late.
Breast cancer is on the rise. Every month, I see several patients newly diagnosed. Unfortunately, because of stigma, the patients do not report quickly. Patients report when their condition is already serious. Most patients in the rural areas believe that operations and other interventions which we do when it comes to treatment is actually the cause of the worsening of their condition or their deaths when it happens. This is not true. So this awareness campaign is so important so that all people are aware of it.
Meanwhile, management of the Ghana National Gas Company has provided an assistance package of 20,000 cedis to 2 breast cancer patients at the hospital. The CEO, Judith Ajoba-Blay, disclosed that the gesture is part of President Mahama Cares Initiative. She urged all women to be aware of their bodies, adding that breast cancer is a universal disease which can happen to anyone.
Breast cancer is real. breast cancer is a very universal disease. It happens to men, women, poor, rich. For this year, we've even chosen a theme at Ghana Gas that every breast cancer story is unique. It's unique in the sense that even yesterday, we found out that some healthcare providers have breast cancer and yet they go to the hospital to take care of sick people. So somebody who is sick, who has sacrificed to go and take care of sick people. That's a very unique case. Then every story, every journey is also matters. Here we are. Nobody should be left out. Everybody should be supported in this fight for breast cancer.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
I've been wanting to tell you this. Is black your favorite color?
Probably.
You look good in black, honestly.
Thank you.
I must admit.
Thank you.
You can compliment
we are
me.
morning now, so.
You can compliment
Oh,
me.
you're looking very good
Thank
as
you
well.
so much. Gracias.
And that's how we wrap up the bulletin right here on TV3. It's been Weekend Central. My name is Judith Brown. I've been doing this with.
My name is Josh Kwaning. For more news updates, just log on to our website. It's 3news.com. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good afternoon.
Bye.